All right. Jason here, Galatians 1. We're still in Galatians 1, going through the book of Galatians here. Galatians 1. I'm going to do 2 verses today, 7 and 8, 2 in one session. I'm going to read verse 6 also. Again, to kind of review, I am shocked that you are turning away so soon from God, who called you to himself through the loving mercy of Christ. You are following a different way that pretends to be the good news. That's where verse 6 left off. Verse 7, he said, but it is not good news at all. You are being deliberately fooled by those who are twisting the truth concerning Christ. And then verse 8, he says, let God's curse. So actually, we're going to be on verses 8 and 9 today. I just wanted to read those as we're setting up. 8 and 9, Galatians 1, 8 and 9. Let God's curse fall on anyone, including us, or even an angel from heaven who preaches a different kind of good news than the one we preach to you. He's just kind of he's really setting the point home at this part. Paul is. He said it again. What we have said before, he's like, let me repeat myself. I want to repeat to you. I want to make it clear. If anyone preaches any other good news than the one you welcome, let that person be cursed. That's verses 8 and 9. Let the curse fall upon anyone, including any of us or an angel from heaven who preaches a different kind of good news than the one we preached to you. I say again what we have said before. If anyone preaches any other good news than the one you welcome, let that person be cursed. Wow. Again, not pulling any punches. Paul isn't here. I want to read some of my notes here, starting for verse 8. He says, anyone who preaches other news should be cursed. It's interesting. No matter who preaches it, anyone. He says, let that person be. He says, if it's in us, he goes, in other words, it's one of the super apostles that we are, the called, chosen ones of God. If we're preaching it, let us be cursed. If an angel from heaven is preaching, whatever messenger it is, because the problem is that there is a curse in the law. So the reason that the law is cursed when you're preaching it, and the law being like you can save yourself, that he talks about, he says, Christ, what we'll talk about is Christ became a curse for us, because the law can only bring curse to us. It only brings us into the curse of sin and helps us to understand sin. It can't get us out of the power of sin. And so it's just naturally the fruit of the law is the curse. And so he's saying, if you're going to walk in the curse, you're going to walk in the curse. If you want to preach the curse, you're in the curse. So he goes on, verse 9, he repeats it again, like a curse on anyone. He's really, I think, setting up and foreshadowing that he's going to call some of the leaders of the church out on their mixing of the law with the gospel. He's going to call them out later. We're going to see that. But he's really foreshadowing, saying it doesn't matter who you are. An angel from heaven has this message of you can be saved through the law. He said that's a curse. Curse, curse, curse. He repeated it again, repeating yourself. If you preach any other good news than the one you welcome, let that person be cursed. He's really setting a vow upon them, even to the one that it brings back to the vow that the Israelites that wanted to shut Paul up, they took a vow, said, we're not going to eat, we're not going to drink anything until we kill Paul. And so there's this kind of a shadow back to that, foreshadowing forward what he's going to say, how he called out some of the church leaders on this. But he goes on to say that, in verse, we'll find in chapter 5, it's like, man, I just wish they would cut themselves off totally because they're cursed. We know that even in Romans, Paul says, man, I would love to take the curse for you. I would take the curse if I could. So it makes it clear here that we know that they would cut off the law, they would pull the plug on it, that we must declare consistently that Christ is our only way, that we can't add anything else in there. he talks about this in other writings. If you don't love Jesus, you're cursed, that you should be cut off. You can't call Jesus cursed under the Spirit. And so he's like, if you're going to walk in the Spirit, you're going to walk in preaching the gospel, the good news about Jesus. He makes it clear that it doesn't matter who it is, how many PhDs they have, how many followers they have, how big their church is. If they're preaching another gospel, it's a curse unto them. And so I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or any comments about verses 8 and 9, just let us know, and have a great day, and we'll check it out again tomorrow.